Hi, Brian. Can you hear
Hello,
me?
hello. How's it going?
Yeah, good. Yeah.
It's a bit early there and a bit late here.
Yeah.
So I just sent out a reminder to the list. We'll wait a couple of minutes to um, see who else might want to join us.
Okay. So, Brian, do you think we can get started?
Yeah, I think we go ahead. I was about to say the same thing. So go
Okay.
ahead. Take it
Yeah.
away.
Yeah. Okay. So, good morning. Hello, everyone. Yeah, welcome to our SCONE interim meeting. So, this is the last interim meeting before the major. And I think, yeah, since this meeting very close to the IETF 123, so the focus will be hackathon planning and the workstream status update. Yeah, note will apply, and this is a kind of reminder for the IETF policy. For example, code of conduct, IPR, copyright, and the working group process. If you want to read more detail, please refer to the BCP document in these pages. Working group status. Since Bangkok meeting, we have already scheduled 4 interim meeting, and with time zone rotation, and the drive mostly focused on drive the progress of 2 work stream. I have to say we made good progress for these 2 work stream, and we actually set up the GitHub working with GitHub, and we harmonize 2 candidate protocol proposal consolidated in 1 single protocols. In addition, we make a good use of GitHub resource to keep track of all the open issues. And we also have a good debate for some protocol design and protocol usage. And so this is, the last interim meeting before the magic. Document status, we already achieved one of the milestone, and we recently adopted one SCONE-based protocol as a working group drafter. And also, we also received a good improved discussion related to the second child item applicability and manageability and input such as Sanjay's 3GPP use cases and Anup topic on the time window for the bitrate. And for the time frame on these two chapter items, I think for applicability and manageability a little bit lag behind. I think working group should put more effort and resource on this second chapter item in the future on-site meeting and interim meeting. Meeting administrator, and please help minutes taking, and will only the key discussion point need to be captured. For Zulip, we already actually we already sent notes URL to the chat window, and for Zulip, please help to watch the discussion in the chat window of the meeting echo, and forward a critical issue to the rooms. So this is the meeting agenda for today's discussion. We'll first go through the SCONE hackathon plan discussion, which is led by the Wesley. And then second is we'll invite Sajay to give an update on applicability and manageability. After that, we will revisit and review and discuss the remaining issue related to the SCONE protocol and wrap up. Any agenda, Bash? If no, I think Wesley?
Yep, I'm here.
You want to control by yourself? We can pass the control to you.
Sure. How do I get to the slide on the hackathon? Change deck, okay.
Yeah.
There we go. All right. So I've announced it on the mailing list, so if you're caught up there, you've probably seen this. And also announced on the main IETF hackathon mailing list that a number of us have started collaborating on plans for working on SCONE at the upcoming IETF 123 meeting in Madrid. We also, because the hackathon also supports remote participation, we also should be able to support collaborating with people that are not able to be on site at the hackathon. That's coming up 19th and 20th of July. And if you want to interact on planning for this, there's a Slack channel that has been created on the QuickDev Slack, which Marcus Eiler can help get an invitation to for anyone else who might need one. The main people who've been making plans so far are listed in the champions list, though there have been a few others in the last few days popping up. I think Zahid said he would like to be participating on site and a champion as well. And just to review what we think we might do. So we'll have the ability to work together on site, and some people are planning to be able to run SCONE network elements. Other people are hoping to run SCONE quick end stacks and be able to test together a little bit. We'll have to do some coordination on things that aren't totally nailed down in the drafts or draft yet on, for instance, particular version numbers to use. But we think that should be minor and pretty easy to do through the Slack channel, for instance, ahead of time. And then, as with all the other IETF hackathon projects, we'll try to put together some conclusions and share with the rest of the hackathon participants at the end. And anything interesting we could share with the SCONE working group meeting later in the week as well. But that's it, just advertising that we plan to get together and do some work on SCONE before the IETF meeting.
Yeah, thanks, Wesley, to take initiative for this. Any comments? So Wesley, in addition to invite, SCONE proponents, maybe we can send an invitation to the quick mailing list to invite some quick experts.
Sure. Yeah, I'd be happy to do that. Yep.
Any other comments? Okay. Thanks, Wesley. Yeah.
Yep.
Next, Sanjay. Are you online? Yeah.
Yeah, I'm here.
Okay. Maybe you can give a quick update.
Okay. Are you bringing up the slides?
Yeah, I will pass control to you. Yeah. No.
Okay. Great. Thanks. Thank you. So first thing first, the initial version that we submitted, it's going to grow from the initial thought of use case and requirements into applicability and manageability. So that's the easy part. So we're changing the direction in terms of the focus of the draft would be mostly on the usage side and how from the network standpoint and from the client standpoint, what are the considerations, operational considerations that ought to be considered. So that's where we're going to be focusing on. So let me move to the next slide. Okay, so first thing is we do have some comments that were posted a while back, actually. Ken had posted these comments. And also I should say that Marcus also had sent comments offline, but I think more or less they fall in line with some of the comments that Ken has here. So I just wanted to make sure that I acknowledge those comments that were posted. So there were really three comments, but meaningful. So the first one was to remove the RFC 2119 language from the document. So my only response is that given that even with the applicability and manageability, the terms that we would end up using, must and should, etc., would still be there. So I think it may be that we keep the reference to RFC 2119, and if as a draft publishes and if the working group input feels that it's not needed, then we can obviously remove it. But my sense is that for now, at least, we keep that into the draft. So that was one comment, and then the second one was I think in terms of the overall orientation of the document, in terms of scoping out what the objective of the document is, and then removing the requirements from the draft. And I think we talked about that in the one of the interims, not the last one, but the one before last. So I had acknowledged that that certainly, the intent of the requirement really was to make sure that some of the things that we should consider from the client side of view and the network side of view should be considered. And given that we have the protocol document that is addressing those requirements, so we can remove that from the next version of the draft. So we'll do that, and obviously the scope, etc., would also be added appropriately. And on the third comment was, besides the structure and better organization, can you refer to us using the RFC 9317 and 7603? So those are good comments. And as we work through the document, we're going to make sure that we keep the structure following the suggestions that you have. So they're both good suggestions. So we'll make sure that we're keeping an eye out on that and structuring the document accordingly. Marcus, I have not specifically listed out your comments, but feel free to raise your hand if you want to jump into the line to add anything. So the next slide the last slide that I have, some of the thoughts that we have as we structure the document. These are some of the things that that we are thinking about as we think about the applicability and manageability part. So one is to sort of call out, what the SCONE hint is and how that applies and what should be considered. So that's one of the topic we're thinking to expand upon on. The other is what are the actions within the network, meaning what the network will do. So write those out. And likewise, sort of talk through the actions on the application side, what the application will do. So that's another topic we are thinking on adding on. And the issue 35 that has been created in the GitHub is particularly on the measuring the advised bit rate on a per flow or an aggregate flow. So we'll make sure that we're addressing it in a way that conforms to any comments and things that get posted on GitHub. And then there are other. We're going to go exhaustively through the protocol on the GitHub and go through the issues and any issue that we feel that we need to that makes sense for applicability or the manageability point of view. We'll add those on as well in the topic. And my hope is that we can start to work on this document and maybe submit over the next 5 days, at least the broader outline and the structure of the document. At least we can get that in. That is my hope. And then hopefully my co-authors would find time to collaborate and put some skeleton into the document. So at least in Madrid, we can talk through a little bit more meaningfully on some of these topics. So that's kind of where we are at. And this is the personal GitHub, but you should be able to access it. So please have a go at the document, and anything that you think this draft should consider, your input is very valuable. So, anything that you have to suggest or say or questions, feel free to chime into there. I think that's the really only slide. So
Okay.
Any questions, thoughts, comments?
Thanks, Sanjay. Any comments from room?
It's either too late or too early. Everybody's quiet.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, I think that's a please have a look at the document and take discussion to the list, the relevant issues, and or Madrid.
Yeah, Sanjay, maybe you can share your skeleton to the mailing list.
Yes.
Take on some discussion.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
Yeah.
Thank you. Maybe we just move to the next. So who will lead the discussion, Marcus or Martin? Marcus?
Yeah, I also haven't prepared anything. And actually, looking at the where we are on issues and so on, I think there has not been very much activity since last time. A few things that have. I mean, we had a very non-controversial pull request. That stuff has been merged. That was around describing. Using the terminology throughput advice more than talking about rate limits. So we make sure that it's clear that this mechanism is not just solely for rate limiting networks, and that has been merged in. And looking at the issues, like the one that we have had most debate on, number 5. I think there has not been any update on that discussion since last time we met. And then there is one issue, 35, that was opened by Martin Duke right after the previous meeting, and that's on aggregate or per flow measurement. And I think we haven't had any real discussions there either. I think this is a discussion that we will need to have, and my feeling is that we are pretty solid in terms of the protocol, and I think like we need to do some interop and really open up a new can of issues by doing that potentially. And also, I think what Sanjay is presenting is also something that can lead to more informed discussions. So at least from what I see since last time, there's like nothing new up for discussion. But of course,
Cool. I think we have Dan in queue.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you, Brian. So I have a suggestion, and I don't know how this can be handled, but it would be nice to start adding labels to some of these issues. And I'm thinking specifically about when we first started this, we had the agreement that the work is going to be somehow split into something that is not mutually exclusive, but focused on semantics, focused on the protocol. So we focused on the protocol for a while and making some progress, but I haven't heard anything about semantics, and we haven't made much progress. There are issues that are related to semantics in the list. I created one issue in particular because we don't have a clear understanding what that throughput advice is supposed to be, and I think it's sort of related to that aggregate or per flow measurement. I think we need some clarity in the document with regards to what we're transporting, because it needs to be well understood and somehow measurable on both the CSP and the CAP side. So I have a draft that is doing something in that space. The video session data rate draft that I published a few months ago. But irrespective of that, I think we do need to have something in the draft that covers terminology, semantics, and clarity on what we're talking about. Thank you.
I fully agree. I think the presentation that Anoop made last time, the work that Meta and others have done on like averaging window times and such, is something that nudges us in that direction. And yeah, I agree that we probably need to translate that into some issue and potentially a pull request. And yeah, setting labels on the issues is probably a good idea as well. We look into that.
So I think next steps are there have been a couple of pull requests merged since 0.0. Will y'all roll that up into a 0.1 before the draft deadline, which I think is next Monday?
Yeah, it's on Monday. I think that makes sense to do.
Yeah, that makes sense just for people who aren't in all of the interims. Cool. Anything else you'd like to bring up before Madrid? Or does everyone get an hour back? Four more seconds of uncomfortable silence. All right. I think one bit of signal that we've got is we were hoping a little bit that the relatively aggressive interim schedule would act as a kind of an external clocking mechanism to drive work forward. Let us see if 123 does that instead. We can also talk a bit in Madrid about revising the interim schedule. I think that we could probably have a slightly less frequent schedule and get just as much done. But we can take that to the list as well. Any other business? Two thumbs up from Martin Thompson, going once, going twice. Hope to see you all in Madrid. Have a great morning, afternoon, evening, or night.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Thank you.